Hi, everybody. So this is going to be an intro for Module 5. We are about halfway through the first week of Module 5, which is week 8 in the course. And we are getting into mobile mapping. So now we know size and location matters. What about position? There's a few things that are going to be upcoming for next week, but really quickly, for week 8, we are reading the first half of chapter 5, Mobile Mapping Fundamentals, in the course text, Geospatial Concepts, the Fundamentals of Geospatial Science. So that's sections 1 through 4, overview through positioning. So that means all the way through the positioning section. We had a lecture open up on the 13th, Tuesday, at 6 p.m. That's more than one direction. And the lectures for this week are from Professor Dr. Amy Rock from HSU. She does a really great job at explaining these concepts because she's one of the authors of the course. So it's really special that we get to see some of her material. And so just take notes like you would as if you're in class. And so we also have discussion 8, modern day compass use. That will be due October 20th. That's a Tuesday by 11:59 p.m. So again, please get your submissions in as early in the week as possible. Make sure that you're paying attention to the minimum word count range. So that range is the minimum word count. And so if you're only a couple of words over, let's say it's a 250 word to 500 word minimum range. So anything within that range is going to get you the base points. Anything above that range is going to give you the maximum points. And anything below that range is going to give you 0 points for that section in the rubric and could possibly lead to you getting 0 points for the whole discussion if it continues, if it's an ongoing issue for you. So just please keep that in mind. That minimum word count range does change per discussion depending on what we're discussing and what the prompts are. So just make sure that you're reading through those instructions, and if you need any clarification, please reach out and I'm happy to clarify that for you. Also, most discussions are going to require at least 1 peer response. Most of them are 2, so make sure that you're keeping up on that because you get points for those too. And of course, it leads to a more engaging discussion, which, by the way, the discussions in the course this semester have been really great, and I just really appreciate everybody's perspective, and I love how you guys support each other and discuss different points in the class. It's exactly what's supposed to be happening, and so I just wanted to really emphasize that you guys are doing a great job. Okay, so our second lecture will open up on the 15th, and I just corrected that little typo. I don't know if anybody else caught that, but it's actually opens on the 15th, which is a Thursday at 6 p.m. and that's the You Are Here lecture. And again, that lecture is presented by Dr. Amy Rock. The lab that we have for this week is indicating direction using azimuth and bearing. That is due on Tuesday the 20th by 11:59 p.m. And this is set up like a quiz, like the last couple of exercises have been, or lab activities. And so you have unlimited attempts to get that done. It's a really quick and easy exercise this week. I did go over it in the open lab on Thursday, and that recording should be up by Friday. If you have any questions or issues getting through those questions, please email me and we could set up a one-on-one session. And if I get enough interest, I am willing to do a quick session on Tuesday the 20th around 6 o'clock, but I won't set anything up unless I get feedback from you guys if it's needed. So Module 5 Quiz 1 opens up Thursday 10:15 at 6 p.m. and it's due on the 20th by 11:59 p.m. As usual, those quizzes are open book and note. You have 2 attempts and the highest score is kept. And so please make sure to take your time and to work through those questions thoughtfully. So I really appreciate everybody's feedback and using the Q&A forum. If there's anything that's malfunctioning with Canvas, that is a really good way to give me a heads up. Email is great too. And I can really easily go and fix the problem. Sometimes it's on my end, sometimes it's on the student's end, but either way, it's usually really easy fix, and it's just better to check in just in case and to get those kinds of issues resolved. Okay, so for the upcoming week, for week 9, there are a few things that I want to give you a little bit of a heads up on. So we'll be reading the rest of chapter 5, sections 5, which is on GNSS, global navigation systems. The first lecture will open up on Tuesday at 6 p.m. How does Google Maps know where I am? And then the second lecture is this thing on, and that'll open up on Thursday at 6 p.m. So that's a normal schedule for this course. And so the lab for this week, and so just by the way, we're getting back into ArcMap. Yay, no more worksheets, or at least no more worksheets for now. But we will be doing the GPS activity. And so at the beginning of the semester, I was asking everyone whether they had access to a GPS. So if you do, that's great. If not, that's fine too. There's going to be other options. And so I just want everybody to give themselves a little bit of a heads up and go to the end of chapter 5 and read through the mapping noise pollution tutorial, so you could kind of wrap your brain around what is expected, because you will need to go out and collect waypoints. And so you will also need to download a decibel reading app on your phone to record noise in whichever area you decide to collect your waypoints in. And so if you don't have a GPS unit, you have a few different options. I mean, you basically could use any app that allows you to collect waypoints on your phone. I'm going to have instructions on how to use the Google Earth map and how to use the Gaia app. And so those are the two apps that that will be used for the course. If you have another app, that's fine. You just need to be able to upload your waypoints in decimal degrees into Excel. And so I'll go more into that next week, but I just kind of want you guys to be ready for that, especially because you're going to be required to go out and collect those waypoints. And so wherever you decide to go, whether you're in your neighborhood, you go to the forest or the beach or wherever, you need to make sure that you're able to comply to social distancing guidelines, wear a mask if necessary, and make sure that you're keeping at least 6 feet away from other people who are not in your household. Otherwise, please be creative within the limits of the lab instructions, because this is a pretty fun lab. And I apologize, normally the class would provide GPS units for everyone, but of course, because we're not in class, we're not able to distribute those. And so it gives you an opportunity to see what kind of apps that you can use for waypoints, which is really fun because you could collect those just for personal reasons. I like to make maps a lot, especially when I'm traveling or going to a new place. I'll use an app like that to create a map, so I have a few ideas of places where I want to go and stuff like that. They also can be used for different types of studies and surveying, depending on what kind of accuracy is required for your data. So anyways, they could end up being really useful, even if you don't have a GPS receiver. Okay, so that will be due on the following Tuesday, the 27th by 11:59 p.m. Also, just to elaborate a little bit more, so for this lab activity, you'll be required to go collect those waypoints, and then you'll be required to transfer those waypoints, whether using a GPS or an app, into ArcMap and create a map. And then you will be required to write a report about that information as well. So just be prepared that it's going to be a little bit more involved of a lab that we've had so far. So I want you to make sure that you're scheduling time to do that. We will have a second quiz for Module 5, and that'll open up on Thursday the 22nd, and that will be due on Tuesday the 27th by 11:59 p.m. Again, hard deadline for the quizzes, 2 attempts, open book, open note. So there is an extra credit opportunity this week. There's a presentation, Women in Natural Resources Career Panel. And so you will need to pre-register for that on by Tuesday, October 20th. And I'm just going to switch over to the flyer, and I'll give you guys some more information once I do that. I also will be sending out an email sometime in the next few days before Tuesday for sure. So be looking for that for this extra credit opportunity. All right, so let's take a look at the flyer. Okay, so the North Coast chapter of California Women in Timber presents the 5th annual Women in Natural Resources Career Panel. And so this is a virtual event. Everything will be done via Zoom. And so this is going to feature local female natural resource professionals as they discuss experiences in consulting, industry, government, and research. Even though this presentation is focusing on women professionals, this event is definitely open to everybody, and it will create accessibility for everyone too. It's just giving a little bit more of a diverse perspective in the natural resources field. And so again, this is an extra credit. It's not required. It's going to be Thursday, October 22nd from 6 to 7 p.m. Obviously that is the same time as our open lab is scheduled, but you know, those open labs are not required and they're recorded. And so if you have the time to participate in the career panel, please do so. It'll be really interesting and it should open up some opportunities and doors for some of you guys, or at least give you some examples of what what women in particular are doing in our area. So the email that I will send will give you more details on what's required for the extra credit assignment. But again, if you're planning on participating, you need to pre-register by Tuesday, October 20th. There's a link here and you'll be able to join the discussion of your choice. And if you have any questions or anything like that, there's an email contact down here with their website and their Instagram. So again, this is a really cool presentation that's happening and I encourage everybody to participate. And so the extra credit will just be a quick summary. There'll be a minimum word count requirement, and I'll just want you to discuss what you learned. But again, that'll all be included in the email that I send along with this flyer. Alrighty. So that about wraps everything up that I need to go over. I'll have another intro video, of course, for next week, and just keep an eye on your email for that extra credit information. And I'll be contacting you guys a little bit earlier than normal next week, just to give more information about the GPS lab activity as well. All right, I hope you all have a good weekend.